Paper, yeah. It's our time. One love. What's up, y'all? Yeah, I got my clown makeup on today. I just did a lecture at a college and I gave them the full Paperboy experience. So I had my clown makeup and then I was in the city for a while and left it on. So you see it's like coming off on my nose and all that. But, okay. I'm the clown today. Speaking of clowns, Governor Kathy Hochul. Uh, and Eric Adams, right? Um, we all know Eric Adams has some like indictments or investigations that he's going under. The weird thing is that folks talk about what gets mixed together is Adams being a bad mayor, meaning not doing a great job governing or some of his missteps governing. That gets mixed up with the actual allegations that the Department of Justice was bringing against him and the indictments he was under. So that all gets jumbled up. And a lot of folks don't understand what the actual charges against him were or issues that the government was trying to bring. I'm going to make myself a little bigger here. So that's one of the main issues is that folks don't know. And a lot of politicians are using this to their advantage, whether it be other folks running for mayor. By the way, I'm running for mayor of New York City. You know, I ran last cycle. We did amazing. We got the most votes per dollar in the entire election and proved how you can, get a lot of support and not feed back into the traditional donor system, which is one of the things that has Eric Adams hemmed up here. But this is what I want to talk about. Why Governor Hochul isn't going to remove Eric Adams and why she isn't. So I mentioned that candidates for mayor, other politicians are using this to get themselves out there and to get back at the mayor. Listen, Eric Adams, you guys know I'm not a fan. I released Eric Adams Get Out of My Room way before he was mayor, before he was even considered a front runner or people knew he was a front runner for mayor. I was calling him out and my issues with him. And even some stuff before that while he was borough president. I was focusing on him. So before I was even running for office, just as a private citizen, I was saying this. So now he has these issues that I really kind of wish with the Eric Adams allegations that it was something much more of a smoking gun. Like literally like, okay, this is the thing, this is why everyone should be upset. But because it's so much confusion and not exact details around the issue, that the court case hasn't happened, they haven't been able to present an accurate defense. Some of the actions that were done, like they're saying that he had got favors from the Turkish government and folks in Turkey. It's like it's confusing to people because when you tell the average person on the street, because I talk to people on the street while I'm getting petitions signed or handing out flyers, they're like, yeah, so what's the thing with the mayor? And when it's like, oh, he got like first class flights to Turkey and things like that, and told folks to look at the paperwork for a building that was building permits getting approved. To the average person, it doesn't seem that bad. It's not like, oh, he took a bunch of money for this thing. It doesn't seem that bad. It's like, wait, you wanted the mayor of New York to fly coach all the way to Turkey? Like, huh? That's what he was supposed to do, or that? So the average person, that's what they tell me. Maybe your circle is different. We all live in our own bubbles. That's my bubble. Because of that, folks have to throw a lot of extra salt on it. It's also easy to make him look bad. He was a cop. There's a good enough negative sentiment against cops. He's also a black man mayor. New York City, which was at one point was the place that had the most black people in the world. The largest concentration of black people in the world at one point was in New York City. And I know Malcolm X talked a lot about this while he was giving his speeches and was alive. New York City's only had 2 black mayors. Eric is one of them. Eric Adams is one of them. So it's also easy to demonize a black man in America. That's just like That's one of the oldest tricks in the book. And then on top of that, he's actually not a great mayor and not very good at being politically correct in this emerging leftist landscape that's happening. And New York City is kind of the like it's the nucleus of the leftist landscape in America, and he might be considered a much more leftist or progressive mayor in a city more to the south or even to the west or Midwest. But in New York City, he's considered very much moderate, almost leaning Republican. So let's get into the tweet I have up here, because I've been this is sitting here and I'm not talking about it this whole time. So let's talk about it. So Gothamist, which they've posted me sometimes before. I think they shout out my campaign for president. They're saying Governor Kathy Hochul has decided against removing embattled New York City mayor from office. Instead, the governor will unveil state and city bills that would increase oversight in the mayor's office. So let's go to the link here. Let's go to the link real quick. So yeah, you know, that is I was looking up some other stuff. Let's see if this can pull it up. It's moving slow, but so basically, dude, I was actually trying to go to the actual link of the article. I have so many tabs up while doing this, so excuse me. Paper, yeah. Okay, here we go. So basically, I read through some of this article before, but I wanted to have it up for you all. It says that she won't remove him from office, and that she doesn't want to. She's playing the whole, hey, I don't want to. Removing Adams from office would fly in the face of democratic principles. Even as she continued to express concern over the Trump administration's push to dismiss the mayor's criminal charges. Okay, my computer's acting funny. What's my point of this, right? That basically the fact that it's even this person hasn't even been indicted and they're already trying to remove him from office when there's so many city council people and state people in the state legislature that have questionable things going on that should be removed, but remove the mayor so that we can then have to put in the public advocate to be the interim mayor to be sworn in. Then we have to have a special election to have a new mayor be the mayor. Then we're right after that there's the real election that was already scheduled to take place. That's going to happen. So we could potentially have 3 mayors over the next 5 or 6 months. Does that make sense? That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. But they're still calling to remove Eric Adams because they don't like him. First off, whoever the mayor is in New York, people are going to complain. Does that mean that I agree with Eric Adams that they shouldn't be called out or that folks shouldn't be held accountable for their actions? No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I'm saying that just so you know, whoever the mayor is, people complain. That's just how it works. It's a scapegoat job. Same thing with the president and stuff like that, and also the governor. But what I really liked about this tweet here, and of course now it's still populating, and I'm afraid to show my. I'm gonna give it some time now. I'm gonna refresh it. I'm afraid to refresh my Twitter on here because you know Twitter's wild. I don't know what'll pop up, but yeah. So that's the situation with that, and she's playing. Oh, I can't do that because of that or because of this. Whatever. My issue is that what this tweet says is about that this isn't so much about actually removing Eric Adams from office, but what it's actually about is getting more power for Albany, getting more power to the mayor's office. I mean, excuse me, the governor's office. Because right now, if you're the governor of New York, like Kathy Hochul, the only thing separating you and the governor of Montana is the fact that you have New York City. Right? That's the only thing that makes it matter. You have New York City. Without New York City, being the governor of New York is literally like being the governor of Montana. And that's not a diss to Montana. That's not a diss to upstate New York. That's mostly to say and just show how important that New York City is, how much revenue it has. It literally has a bigger budget. The city's budget is larger than every state in America except for four. New York State being one of those states. So it would be the fifth largest state by budget and in the top half of states by population, right? So it's just a very vibrant place with a lot going on, and it's very beneficial to have for tax purposes, for culture purposes, for power purposes, and leveraging that in the national landscape. So what this tweet says that I really like is that, well, not that I like it, but that it's an interesting perspective, is that it says, it's worse than I thought. Hochul is using the Adams scandal to try to take authority away from New York City permanently and hand it to the state. This has zero to do with Adams. It's a power grab. This is truly shameless. And so in my campaign for mayor, I need to make more videos about my actual plans. But one of the plans is New York City statehood, and I'm happy to talk about it here. One of the plans is New York City statehood, and making New York City a state. And I won't get into the exact details of that and how it will be outlined, but it's because there's often a battle and a power imbalance between Albany, which is where the state government is located, and New York City. And New York City is usually on the more progressive end of things, where Albany is on the more conservative end. And New York City brings in the most revenue. It also has the most residents of anywhere in the state. And so it's really the most important kid. It's the kid that's the celebrity out of the family, right? It's the most important, the most talked about. It has the biggest issues. So, and it's where the power of the state lies. It's really where the majority of the power of the state lies, which is why the governor has an office there. And there's been they want to get New York City under control. They want to have more power over it. They want to be able to tell them what to do with their funds, be able to use those funds for state purposes, and all of that. And in this article, which I closed out, but in the article, it details how she will basically have she's implementing a deputy that will oversee the financial decisions that the city makes, that also will oversee the mayor's office as well. And here's the thing. We already have enough bureaucracy in NYC. I mean, it is if you live somewhere else, every inch of this place is regulated and has rules and has so many people you have to ask to do anything. Sound, if you own a business, you want to change something outside, if you want to change something in your house or apartment, you have to get all these permits, which a lot of that is for good reason. I'm not one of these people that's like burn it all down and take it. A lot of that is for good reason. A lot of that is to help keep people safe. But sometimes it oversteps. Sometimes it's just a power grab. Sometimes these folks are so blind in their own need to have more power as a elected official that this is what they do. And this is what I see from Kathy Hochul in the situation. And I think it all comes down to, I really think it comes down to Eric Adams talking about the issues with the migrants and the migrant crisis. And he got a bad end of the stick of it being one of the worst influx of migrants at the same time as the economy is hurting and people are hurting and there's a housing crisis for citizens here and all of that. He got a bad end of the stick on that and tried to speak out about it, and looked like he was down talking the president. And I feel like that's why the investigations came, and now you see them trying to take power away from him. uh, I do think part of it is to do with his incompetence. A large part is to do with his incompetence. I think a part of it is to do with him being a black man, black mayor. I think another part of it has to do with, like I said, his battle with the Biden administration and the handling of the migrant crisis. That was his issue. That was the most visible issue. And it really needed him to do a better job at communicating through all of that, and clearly. So we'll see. I'm running for mayor. I have an incredible platform. My book is out on Amazon if you want to see some of the stuff that I stand for. And I'll be making a lot more videos on my thoughts and plans. I say this to folks. I'm like, sometimes you don't like the mainstream music, right? Or you might not like to eat at the mainstream restaurants. McDonald's might not be for you. Or you don't like Burger King. Or you don't like the mainstream music, Katy Perry, or who's a mainstream artist, Justin Bieber. That's not who you listen to. You listen to something a little off kilter, something more cool. And I'm like, well, do the same thing with your politics. Don't just be into these mainstream politicians, the ones that the paper is pushing and the biggest media outlets are pushing. Look under the surface. Support candidates like myself who are, independent and lesser known. I am running as a Democrat because in New York City, the Democrats control so much power. It's a one-party city and almost a one-party state because of the power that's concentrated in New York City spills over into so much of the state, other parts of the state. So, if you do want to have a chance of getting elected, running as a Democrat is the best way. But I say I'm independent, meaning that I am not tied to any of these other Democratic organizations, or no one put me here. I'm not one of these, major candidates that's propped up by the establishment. So I tell folks, the same way that you do with the music that you like, maybe the clothes that you like and all of that, the food that you eat, and you like something a little different, something off the beaten path, do the same thing with your political candidates and see how much further that can actually take this city and this country. So thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. I hope this video was informative or at least a little bit entertaining. And yeah, I'll be making some more soon. Ha! Paper, yeah. All right, peace.